Broadcasting from Watts Creative Studios and live on Grove Street FM. You're listening to Talk Local to Me, brought to you by the Central Virginia Business Coalition.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Talk Local to Me. I'm Heather Alto with the Central Virginia Business Coalition.
And that makes me Mike Norfield with Visiting Angels.
Is that who you are?
That's who it makes me.
That's good to know. That's good to know. So welcome, everyone, back to another episode of Talk Local to Me here on the fabulous GroveStreet.fm Media Squatch, all the things. How are you today, Woody?
You know, I'm doing great.
Well, that's good. I feel like I haven't seen you in a while, even though I saw you last week. Mm-hmm. But I haven't called and bugged you really any this week for anything.
One week is like a month. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's what it's like. Time flies.
You know, it does feel like that sometimes. I can't believe it's already the end of March. I mean, I cannot.
The days are long and the years are short.
Yeah. I've already made it through like 2 big events and, you know, I'm just moving to our other things. So our Lead On Summit was awesome.
It was amazing.
We had wonderful speakers and some great topics and learned a lot and had some good lunch and food and, you know, got to network with a lot of great individuals. So, our next event we've got, so first of all, let me just say, we have Coffee Talk this Friday. So if you can come out, Old City Cemetery. We are going to be in the main building.
Okay.
We're not going to the chapel. Apparently she heard my fear of the chapel.
No reenactment of the Patriot.
No reenactment of the Patriot. So for those who don't know, so we have our guests on today. We have 3 guests on today, actually. So, I was telling people last week, if you've ever seen the movie The Patriot, have you ever seen the movie The Patriot? Okay, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. Anytime it's on TV, I will stop and watch it, all 3 hours of it. I love it. And so, but I was telling them when I went there, they were talking about being in the chapel at the Old City Cemetery, and I went up and checked it out. And I was like, the chapel is amazing. It's beautiful. But it reminds me of the church that they burned down in the movie. And then it kind of freaked me out. So I was like, yeah, I don't know about this one. But so anyway, that's just
move it. It's fine.
And I know. So I have a fear of all kinds of things that are lately coming up. Like I have a fear of bridges. Let's talk about the whole bridge thing. I called my husband. I was like, see, this is why I don't like bridges. He was like, the chance of that happening though. I get it.
Low.
I get it.
Is 100% yesterday.
However, I have the fear. So it's a lot of things. But anyway, so yes, I'm gonna go down a rabbit hole real quick if I don't stop. But Old City Cemetery this Friday. And then Putt-Putt.
That should be a lively event.
Yes. Let's not start with the puns. Right. I'm too tired for that today. I would just sit here and go, yeah,
Just saying.
You're right. Apologies though for everyone listening in today if I sound tired or like I don't know what I'm talking about, or if I say things that make no sense. I'm running off of very little sleep. So it's been a crazy day.
Yes.
Yesterday was a Monday, Tuesday, like a Tuesday. You know what I'm saying?
Tuesdays are the worst.
Nobody
Mondays
knows.
are okay. It's Tuesdays that are bad.
Yeah, it's when the Monday, Tuesdays catch up to you.
The Mondayist Tuesday.
Yeah, the Monday is Tuesday. That's it. So April we have our CVABC Open Putt-Putt tournament.
That'd be fun.
So much fun. If you have not been a part of it before, have not come out to that event, you need to. It's so much fun. It's putt-putt for the gracious sakes. Who doesn't like putt-putt? I'm sure there might be some.
For gracious sakes.
For gracious sakes. So I love putt-putt. It's my favorite. I'm really good at it. And so I'm. Huh?
Are you competitive?
I'm very competitive. Okay. But I'm also very good at putt-putt. So I'm going to pat myself on the back. Yes.
Okay.
So growing up, I was on a competitive putt-putt team. And
that's a thing.
There is a thing. Yes, they did used to have putt-putt tournaments at Putt-Putt where it was like businesses. And so my dad used to work for, it was R. Donnelly when it just, when it recently closed, but it used to be called Murtis-Berta. And they had a team that would go out and play. And so my dad used to take me out there when I was little, and he would show me like where to bank the ball to make sure you got a hole in one and how to, at least get par and all the good things. So I'm really competitive when it comes to putt-putt. So, so we have that going on. We are, if you're interested in getting your name out there, if we do teams of 2, teams of 4, it includes your golf and pizza and drink. And then we also have whole sponsorships. So if you're interested in doing a whole sponsorship, it's $100. Cool thing about it is that with some like golf tournaments and stuff, you just get your whole sponsorship that day. It's during the tournament, whatnot. Putt-Putt is really cool in the fact that they allow us to put the whole sponsorship sponsorships up for 2 weeks. So when families are coming in playing for those 2 weeks, like your stuff is out there. So it's pretty cool. And
cool.
Great way to get your name out there. And then
It's
lastly, I will mention our Empower Women Seminar tickets are now on sale for that. You're going to want to get those tickets. So it's going to be May 30th this year. We're doing it a little bit later in the year, in the month of May, but we're going to host it at Liberty Mountain Conference Center. And we have a fabulous keynote speaker coming in, Dreama Denver. She is she's an author. She's an actress. She's also the wife of Gilligan's Island Gilligan, Bob Denver. And she's coming to talk about women empowerment, but also, living with Gilligan, which I think is going to be pretty cool. And then we're working on our speakers, our local speakers that all encompass that event and the workshops we'll be putting on. So it's $100 for a ticket if you get your ticket before April 20th. And you're going to want to do that because then it goes up to $125. They sell out quickly. And that includes, $100 includes your whole day and really great breakfast. It's being provided by Sweet Indulgence Bakery this year. And we're going to have a great lunch and we're going to have workshops and we're going to have opportunities for vendor space. And it's going to be really cool. So get your tickets. You can go to cvabc.org right now. I'm going to say it again, right now.
cvabc.org.
Yes. And register for Putt-Putt, register for Empower. Register for whatever you want. We got all kinds of things on there too. You can find ribbon cuttings and all kinds of up-to-date information on cvabc.org. So let me see how many times I said that today. What do they call it when you haven't had enough punch drunk? You're sleepy.
Yes.
You're just like,
That's me every day.
Yeah. So that's kind of our updates of what we've got going on. Anything fun in your world? Mike's hiring.
I'm hiring. If you're a CNA or a PCA and looking for work, we definitely have it. So
yeah. I saw your ad.
Yeah.
On social media.
visitingangels.com/Lynchburg, or you can call our office at 434-439-4698.
And can I just say that there's a real need in the area.
There is.
For, CNAs and, would you say PCPs? Is that what they're called? PCA, whatever, PCPs, PCA,
personal care,
whatever you want to call yourself. Personal care aid. So there's a real need for them. And y'all train.
We have training available as well. So if you don't have a CNA or a PCA, you're like, I don't know what that is. Feel free to call us and get some information about that.
Mm-hmm. We had a really great ribbon cutting yesterday at Oakwood Health and Rehab.
A lot of people there.
They
had a DJ, gave away prizes.
I heard everybody won prizes.
Except me.
Except you. I'm sorry.
So we took a picture.
Megan was so excited about her prize.
We took a picture with everybody that won their prize, and I was holding my can of LaCroix. So that was my prize.
I probably would have won a prize if stupid me hadn't put my ticket in the box. I didn't realize they had already put the other half of the ticket in the ticket. So when they gave me the ticket, I thought I was supposed to put my ticket in the thing. So both of my tickets were in there. So I probably won. Didn't know it.
Probably.
So it's okay. But they had some really good food too.
They did.
It was really cool.
They had a whole spread.
Great event. They've done a lot of work over there. So.
Yeah. I took a tour and with Stacey Vaught that we had on a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
And the rooms are very nice. So not what you would think of for a nursing home, assisted living.
Okay.
Senior. For that.
So I just want to say that while today is dreary and blah and cold, whatever, that's kind of how I feel today. If you can't tell, I'm just like blah. I'm really excited because my most favorite time of year is coming, and that is spring and summer. And I don't like cold. I've said that multiple times. I can't stand the cold. I don't like to wear jackets, so it makes it even worse.
Yeah.
So I love spring and I love summer when it doesn't get too hot. But if it does get too hot, the best part about it is I can get a pool. Right. And so our guest today, we have Ryan with R&R Pool Care and Jennifer with R&R Pool Care. And we're going to talk to them a little bit about, if you're out there and you own a pool or you're thinking about getting a pool, you may need some maintenance. You are a business that has a pool. All of those things. We're going to talk a little bit with Ryan and Jennifer about why you should contact R&R Pool Care for all your pool care needs so that I can come swim in your pool. Because I'm always looking for places to swim in in people's pools. So what do you got, a pool I can come swim in?
I would love one, actually.
Yeah. No,
he's got the little blue plastic wading pool. Right?
Yes.
Right.
It'll get your ankles wet.
He puts a lawn chair in it and sits and pretends he's on a Disney cruise.
I am blessed because my sister does have a pool. So I go hang out with my sister a lot during the summer. Yeah. Yeah, Heidi. Thanks.
Everybody
for
go to
Get your pool-
Heidi's. In like 3 weeks, we'll all go to Heidi's house.
Get your pool ready. So anyway, so welcome, guys.
Hi.
How are you? I was gonna say, y'all just looked at me like, what am I supposed to say? So, I guess to start off, because I've already kind of told people like, hey, y'all do pools, but like, tell us about Ardner Pool Care. How did you get started, and a little bit more about yourself.
Well, first, I'd like to start off with saying we have a little inside joke, how we introduce ourselves is, if you're looking to build a pool or you want a pool, we're probably not the right fit for you.
Okay.
We can lead you into the right direction.
Right.
If you are buying a house with a pool and you know nothing about it, or if you've owned your pool for 25 years and you're like, hey, I need some work done and I don't know what to do, we're definitely the right fit for you.
Okay.
So.
And I knew you didn't build pools. I knew that.
Not
It's
yet.
my day.
Just wanted to
It's my
make sure.
day.
Not
Yeah,
yet.
I knew.
You know, they
Yes.
don't know.
But then when I steer them in the wrong direction,
Right.
it's like,
We hate to turn people away,
right.
but if we're only turning it away for that reason, then it's a good thing.
Yes.
So.
So I got started in pool work right after high school and for a local company. And I worked there for 5 years, and I absolutely fell in love with the job, what I did, how it changes every day. There's just so many aspects of it. There's plumbing, there's electrical, there's chemistry, there's customer service, you're never at the same spot all day long.
Mhm.
Or if you are, those are the long days. But and then I branched off and I did a few other things, and then I realized that my heart was always in this. And back in 2019, shortly after Jennifer and I got married, she said, I was working on a friend's pool, and she saw my face light up, and she said, you love this. Go back to doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say less than 6 months later, we opened the business back up, and it's been pedal to the metal ever since.
There's something to say about doing something you love to do versus just doing something you have to do.
Right.
So it's really great that you are able to do something that you're passionate about and you love doing.
Even the long days don't feel so long
Right.
when you really enjoy it.
Yeah. See, my problem would be if I did your job is once I finished it, I'd be like, oh, let me just get in this pool. And there'd be like video cameras. And they'd be like, yes, we'd like you not to come back next year after you've been swimming in our pool. But no.
Luckily, we have a great relationship. We do get to swim in several of our customers' pools.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
This is true.
That's always nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good perk.
It is.
But many people think, like you just said, your job must be great.
Yeah.
You get to jump in pools all the time. Let me tell you, if I'm at a pool, I probably don't want to be in that pool.
Oh yeah, I've seen some pictures that I've seen when you post of some of the and my grandfather back in the day we used to have a pool at their house. It was like an above ground pool, and every year, about May we drained it, and everyone had to get in with scrub brushes and stuff and jump in and help clean the pool. Like if you wanted the pool open, you got in and you got dirty and you went in and cleaned the pool. I don't like dirt. I don't like slimy algae-ish stuff. There were like toads and frogs and things that were in there sometimes.
You are not hired.
And I don't want to be. I'm good. I'm just not that type of person, but I had to get in there and do it anyway. And I'd be like,
Right.
Whoa.
If you want to swim in the pool, you got to work on the pool.
You had to work on the pool.
That's true.
That sounds like a keep the kids busy day.
It probably
Mhm.
was.
It probably was.
I mean, but it did teach you to work for something you want.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen some, and I'm sure you've seen some crazy things in some pools.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Now, so just to kind of touch on maintenance and things like that, like what are some of the things that you do for pool owners that they may be looking for?
Well, we do openings and closings. That's more towards the end of the year, though. We do liner replacements. We do weekly maintenance. That has booked up pretty fast this year.
Yes, it sure
So,
has.
I don't.
We're very proud to say that it's not even April 1st yet, and we are.
We want to.
I want to say fully booked on weekly maintenance customers. With 90+% of our existing customers coming back year over year since the beginning, and then so many new customers on the books for this year.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
So
That's awesome.
If you fit in the route, we might be able to squeeze you in. But the route's pretty full.
And then leak detection is something he didn't add. Yeah, absolutely. It's just something we've recently found a lot of people having to deal with, and we've invested a lot in some new equipment to be able to more quickly, more easily, and more precisely find leaks in pools, so that we can avoid major repair if it's not actually needed.
So I follow a couple people on TikTok that do the, finding the leaks in the pools and things like that. And it's really cool to watch them. Like, they've got this huge pool and they're like, it's losing like, a minimal amount of water per day or whatever, but you've got to find it in this entire pool. They're just kind of like going around the pool and looking for defects. And if they see something that's a problem, then they do like the dye or whatever it is that you use. And it's pretty cool to watch. And that's got to be pretty satisfying to know, like, you're prolonging the life of a liner or the pool, at least to get it through that season.
Absolutely. And I'd like to go ahead and add on to that. And this time of year, if people are open, because it's been so nice, it is not absurd to lose 1/4 of an inch overnight through evaporation. So
just with the dramatic change in when it gets warm and then it's right back down to almost freezing at night.
Yeah. So if you're seeing steam on top of your pool, just remember that's water that's disappearing from your pool.
Right.
And usually, unless you're losing, if you're losing about 1/2 inch overnight, that's probably a reason to call us. If you're losing inches and hours, then you're absolutely should probably call us. That just happened recently on a job that we were working on. But yeah. And
so what is the thing that you see the most where clients are kind of taking care of their own pool before they call you and you go in? What's the biggest thing that you see that they almost get right, but it's just kind of off and could cause their pool to not be the best?
Yeah. So I actually came in to the radio show today and with safety on my mind, especially, and I'm going to circle back to your answer.
Go ahead.
But there was some big news before the bridge thing, not to bring up your fears over there. And I don't want to add, I don't want to terrify anybody, but the big news right before the bridge went down was there was an 8-year-old girl that was at
I saw that
in Houston.
Yes.
And I don't want to name names or anything like that, but she got sucked up into the pipe.
Right.
And I just realized she was 8, and my kids are young, and I couldn't even imagine what that family's going through, what the hotel is going through, and the people that had to find the little girl had to go through. But so pool safety, let's start with that. If kids are in the pool, keep your eyes on them.
Yep.
And kids are going to do the game of, hey, I want to hold my breath and let's see who can hold our breath longer and that stuff. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer and say, don't do that. That's not what happened to this girl at all. But just, I don't know, my heart's, I'm sitting here looking at a picture and I shouldn't be.
We talked about it too, not just your eyes, but like you need to make sure you're within saving distance. Like don't think that like, oh, I can see you.
I can see
but
you from
for how long how long is it going to take me to get there and get in and get you and things like that.
And going back to that news story, I don't care if somebody was in the pool. There was no saving her.
No.
Knowing the size of the pump, the size of the pipe and all that.
Yeah.
She
Unfortunately
got pulled 20 feet into that pipe. There was.
Yeah. Well, not to keep going back to my days at my grandfather's pool. However, I'm going to. So we were there one day and we were playing, and my parents and my aunts and uncles were all up on like the deck of the pool while the kids were in playing. Well, my cousin, we had one of those old school, like you climb down the ladder, the little plastic run ladder. And she had gone underwater and somehow her head got stuck
behind it
and in between the rungs of the ladder. And so it took a minute before anyone realized that that's where she couldn't get out. This was playing, that she was stuck there. And so luckily at the time, my mother was closest and she jumped in. And it took a good bit of maneuvering to try and get her out, which she was losing air like the entire time. And it was a really scary situation. Had a parent not been there,
Mm-hmm.
she'd be gone. Like
Mhm.
there'd have been no way. There wouldn't have been any way that me as like a young child would have been
Right.
able to help get her out without a parent, being there. So and had they not been like right there on the deck either, if they'd have been like on a deck, let's say on their porch of their house, just
Yes.
they may not have even seen the situation and just been like, oh, she's swimming underwater. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
I think a lot of people mistake like drowning for splashing, and almost 90% of the time, when you look at it's silent. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're just underwater. You don't even see them until it's too late.
Right.
And we had another customer. Oh gosh, that was almost 2 years ago. Yeah.
Maybe 3.
That the teenager.
It was an Airbnb,
Mhm.
and they had some guests staying, and the parents could not swim. They were not strong swimmers,
Mhm.
and the child was able to swim, but
Something
lost
happened.
its way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they ended up having to call EMS.
Because the child started drowning, then the parent that went in to save them started drowning.
Oh my gosh.
And so then another adult came in the waters, and then EMS showed up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And it was at that moment that we realized that we were not going to mark up any of our safety items. If
Mhm.
anybody wants to buy them from us,
Mhm.
we will,
You don't-
costless tax.
You don't want cost to be an issue for
correct.
Not for safety.
Right.
Yeah.
The only item that we do not offer that for is our winter safety covers.
Right.
That's
Right,
just
but
a lot
life
of
labor that
hooks,
goes
There's a
into
lot
it.
of labor that goes into
buoys,
that, right?
all of that.
Right.
Any like if people want to purchase extra floats or the life hook or anything like that,
Yeah.
those are not marked up in any way. Just so we don't want cost to be a factor. And we immediately provided that Airbnb with a life hook, right? Or a life preserver.
We
One of
gave them
those.
several
We
things.
gave them several things to make sure that like something like that didn't happen again.
Right. That's good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But rolling back to your original
Yeah.
question, number one issue, safety. If you can't see the bottom of the pool, don't get in the pool.
Okay.
Because
Yeah, a lot of people will
if
swim
your
anyway.
kid, if it's cloudy, I always say if I can't see a coin on the bottom, not that you should be throwing coins in your pool,
Right.
but if you can't see a coin on the bottom, then I'm not getting in that pool.
Mhm.
Okay.
Or I'm not letting my kids get in that pool.
Right.
Because if they go down and they get stuck, or
You can't see them.
I can't see
Yeah.
them, I don't
Yeah.
know what's going on.
So that's one of the benefits of having someone come and do maintenance on your pool is that it's really it's a safety issue, not just the quality of the water in the pool, things like that.
Absolutely. And we keep chemical records for every trip that we go to,
Mhm.
Okay.
if the pool's open. That leads into another thing. Clear water doesn't necessarily mean it's safe water.
Right.
Because sometimes we'll go to these pools and the chlorine level will be off the chart. That's
Right.
when your bathing suits start bleaching out, or,
Right.
or this and that. It
Chlorine
wears out-
rash.
Chlorine rash.
Yeah.
That was a big issue last year with one
Mhm.
of my customers, or that is now a customer. It also wears out the equipment, the liner, all that.
Yeah,
good
because it's a
stuff.
harsh chemical.
It's a harsh chemical.
Yeah.
So you're only hurting yourself by thinking, oh, I'm keeping it super clear. I'm keeping it super clean.
More chlorine is good.
Right.
the
People
more I can
think
put in there,
that
the better it is.
right.
Yeah.
And you're risking your skin's health, you're risking your liner's health,
Eyesight.
you're risking you're risking your equipment's health, and then you're costing yourself, hundreds, thousands of dollars versus, well, I was just putting in a couple, $10 extra of chlorine a week or whatever. And, we had a customer that was having a reaction to their chemicals in their pool, and now we take care of it, and that it's significantly decreased. Like, unfortunately we couldn't get all the chemicals out in one trip, but slowly you could see like him swimming wasn't fully covered in rash. It was just like half, and then like every trip we would make to get the chemicals correct, he was having a more quality time in the pool versus where he was before.
Right.
Very cool.
And a lot of people don't know, but it only takes 1 part per million of chlorine to kill almost everything that's in your pool.
Right. Except the people swimming in it.
Except
Right.
people swimming in.
Right.
The you wanted somewhere between 3 to 5, but in reality, it only takes 1. pH is another issue. A lot of people think, my eyes are burning. There's so much chlorine in the pool. that's really the pH. The natural pH of your eye is somewhere between 7.5 and 7.6. So if it's lower than 7.5, it's like having acid on your eyeball.
Right.
So
That's fun.
yeah.
Yeah. People make the big mistake. They're like, oh, the chlorine's so high, it's burning my eyes. And it has nothing to do with the chlorine.
And another issue is, now granted, if your chlorine is up to 20 parts per million or something like that, you're going to smell the chlorine. But usually that hotel smell, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That's usually dead chlorine. So if you smell that, there's probably not chlorine in the pool.
Okay.
Or not good chlorine. That would be your combined chlorine, which is actually dead chlorine. It just gives off an odor.
Okay.
And what causes the dead chlorine?
So that's a great question. So just swimming, because we are living beings,
right?
And the chlorine does attack us, but it takes off your body oil, any dirt that's on you. Kids that pee in the pool, you know.
It's my favorite. Pee in the pool.
I'm glad you said kids.
Makes me.
You didn't look at me.
Don't do that.
You didn't look at me.
Adults don't do that.
You didn't look at me in an accusatory tone.
No,
Yeah.
sure didn't.
So,
Just regular dirt, the little frogs, all those things.
Yeah.
It's just the chlorine attacks it, and then it dies, and then it doesn't know what to do because it's floating around in the water.
Okay.
So,
and how do you get that out of your water?
So that's when you actually you superchlorinate or you shock your pool.
Okay.
And basically that we're getting very scientific here.
Yeah.
Basically it gets
Chemistry
rid of
lesson.
it burns off the dead chlorine.
Okay.
Another item that we have fallen in love with is enzymes for your pool. And what that does is it attacks all those body oils, lotions, all that stuff.
Okay.
And it, oh, that's loud.
Oh yeah.
Hey.
It actually gases off all that stuff too.
Okay.
So it just eats it up really fast. It's not a living thing. I don't know how to explain it exactly.
Right.
It's all magic to me.
Okay.
A lot of people too don't realize that your calcium level in your pool is important too, because you think about got milk, what are you drinking milk for the calcium and the vitamin D for your bones and your teeth, right?
Right.
Well, if your pool has a calcium deficiency, it's going to take it from your teeth and your bones. It needs it.
Oh.
Or your liner.
Or your liner.
Right.
Especially that liner that you just put in last year.
Right.
And so chemistry it's a little tricky because
So it's more than just chlorine going in a pool. You've got to make sure your pH is right. You've got to make sure it's got calcium. You got to pour your gallon of whole milk in there every week.
Please don't do
no,
that.
Don't do that. That was a joke.
We've got specialty products for that.
Right, but there's a lot to it. Like it's not just a hole with water in it in your backyard. Like
Sure isn't.
it's a lot of science and chemistry that goes into it to keep it maintained.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then you add in the weather.
Yep.
Yeah.
It rains, and that's going to throw
A lot
those
of people think
chemicals.
rain's just empty, and it's it's full of vitamins, it's full of chemical components. Like it's not just that. And a little rain might be okay, but when we're getting downpours and things like that, maintenance wise, coming into a pool also requires a lot of not just the chemistry part, but we need to get rid of some of that water because now your pool is too full.
Mm-hmm.
People don't think about that part. Oh, well, my pool's got plenty of water in it. Well, it's actually got a little bit too much. Let's get rid of some of that.
Right.
Do y'all work with saltwater pools?
We do.
Okay. I was wondering how, I kind of see a lot of people kind of switching over to saltwater. So I wanted to just clarify that you guys could do that too.
Yeah. And
Pretty
let's
well.
go.
Well, let's clarify that too.
Yeah, go ahead.
Salt water is actually chlorine.
Oh, okay.
No one knew. No. So we've had a few customers come out and say, my kid's allergic to chlorine. Can we switch to salt? Okay. Well, it's still chlorine. It's just the way that the chlorine is created is different.
Gotcha.
So we do put salt in the pool. Literal pool salt. We do put it in the pool, but then it goes through a generator box and it is developed into chlorine. It's just a different version of chlorine.
Okay.
Now your child might be allergic to that kind of chlorine and this might be better, but it's not
typically more you're not taking care of the chlorine.
right.
Mhm.
So there's more dead chlorine and they're allergic to that, or there's too
people that
much
have
chlorine.
Too much chlorine.
Mhm. That's where chlorine rash
swimmer's
comes
rash,
from.
that
Right.
chlorine rash.
Yep.
That's usually from too much chlorine
Okay.
or dead chlorine. And
And our kids have had it. We've gone to water parks and we've gone places and they've come home and, right where the, like their floaties and stuff,
Right.
because it's holding
Holding
onto
it,
that
yep.
water right there.
Mhm.
They'll get the swimmers. We've seen it. It's not uncommon and it's not detrimental. We put some
No.
cream on it. It's
It
fine.
goes away.
But you don't want your kid to be dealing with that all summer long.
Right.
Right.
Or on your vacation.
Especially-
Right.
Especially
Yeah.
if you have a pool, like if you have a pool at your house and they're in the pool all the time.
All the time.
you
Yeah,
wanna
for
kinda
sure.
Keep that to a minimum. I get that. Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Very cool.
fantastic.
So if someone's listening in and would like to have you come out and check out their pool, maybe they need a new liner, they need some maintenance, and they thought maybe they didn't, but now they're listening to us, they're thinking, yeah, now I probably
Maybe
should have it checked out. What's the best way to get a hold of you?
well, I'm going to leave that up to our communications expert.
Honestly, the best route is email. It's R and R pool. So RANDR pool @gmail.com. This way it goes to both of our phones. So, anybody that's looking can grab the information. And that way we have a good record of the conversation. We're starting to book up with openings. I know a lot of times some people think, well, I don't want to be swimming until Memorial Day, so I don't have to worry about. You need to get on the books,
And
before.
sometimes it takes a while, especially if your pool's been sitting over the winter. It could take a while to get it leveled out. Right?
Correct.
So you want to start that process as soon as you can, so that when you're ready to use your pool, it's ready, and you're not like, well, it's not ready yet.
Yeah,
Well, plus you want it circulating so it gets
Right.
warm.
right.
Because
Because it's covered up.
it's
Yeah,
covered up. It needs to start breathing.
and we're not going to come out on one trip and you're going to swim
The next
tomorrow.
day, right.
It's that. I want to make that really clear because we have a lot of customers. It is possible, but we don't want it. We definitely don't want to overpromise. We would much rather underpromise, and then you're like, "Oh my
Overdeliver.
God, look at that! I can swim
Mhm.
now." And you're like,
Yeah.
"Yeah," but we
And
don't
it's
want to promise
perfect,
that.
right?
It's
Like-
perfect,
Not like you can get in it now, but I wouldn't recommend it.
right?
As soon as you
Right.
leave, that
Because
client's in the
again,
pool.
sometimes we do take off covers, and the pool is clear.
Right.
Doesn't mean
Mean-
it's safe to get in yet.
Right.
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 I
So one question that I ask every podcast guest that comes on. One, how long have you been part of the CVABC?
1,000,000 years.
I think we joined in
This is our
2020.
third
Yeah,
year.
Yeah.
This is our
our fourth year.
fourth?
Cool.
Mhm.
It's the beginning of the fourth.
Yeah, beginning
Oh,
of the
yeah.
fourth.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the other question is, what do you think is the best benefit of being part of the CVABC?
Heather.
Yes.
That's
Yes!
so funny. I was going to say Mike.
I'm sorry.
knew it.
My question was directed at Ryan. Ryan, what is the best part of being a member of the
You just didn't
CVABC?
like my answer.
I was going to say
I
you,
prefer we
and then
speak to
you
Jennifer.
you texted me about omelets this morning.
I
I'm
know.
not
I did.
sure what that was about, but well, I do know.
Hear anything
but-
about omelets?
Yeah, we missed that. That was between 8 and 8:30 this morning.
Yeah. Missed the window.
Okay.
No, I mean, those are great reasons. You guys are great. Honestly, I think it's the community.
Yeah.
And most of us in the coalition are small businesses. Maybe I would say a good chunk of us are less than 5 people
Yes.
Yes.
per business.
Yes.
And being a small business is lonely.
Yeah.
We have our customers and we have our family, but dealing with somebody that understands the amount of pressure,
Yeah.
the time management, the trying to put my family first, but at the same time, make sure that they eat too.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Well, and understanding that, I'm the accountant and I'm the driver and I'm the laborer and I'm, the
I wear a
social
lot of
media.
hats.
I wear a lot of hats.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then on the opposite side, there are several of us that have both sides of the social spectrum. There's a lot of us that have social anxiety and there's a lot of us that are social butterflies, and
Right.
it appeals to both.
Right.
Right.
Being able to go to these events, and if I just want to sit in the corner and I want to listen and I want to absorb and
That's me.
he can do that. He can
Right.
sit back there and watch and listen and have, one or two like confidant people that he can go talk to and whatever.
Yeah.
And then I can go and work the room, because
talk to everybody.
I can talk to everybody and then
Get your
bring
pitch
that all
ready.
back to him to absorb later. The community aspect of the CVBC is
There's been a couple
perfection.
events where Ryan and I've been off in the corner talking, and I'm kind of a mix of both of those personalities. I'm like, some days I just need to like just a few people, and some days I'm talking to everybody.
Oh boy, when we get home though, I'm done.
I
Tapped
know.
out.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
Yeah, right. And
I
then
need
he's
all
right. I'm
the
like,
people.
I need
okay.
Well, I don't need all the people.
I do.
I just
all the people.
Well, you do. Yes. I enjoy one-on-ones. I enjoy getting to know people's stories.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons I love my customers, because I get there and I get to catch up. Like in the next couple of weeks, she's really going to see, because she's riding along full time now.
Mhm.
Just customers coming out and, oh, how was your winter? And then it's like 45-minute catch up, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I really got to go to work. Like,
And again,
I gotta do
that we have some customers that have been with us from the beginning.
So you've developed friendships as well as
Definitely.
that
And then, we've got some that are in the CVABC. We've got some that we've brought to the CVABC, shout out Mike Cook.
Right.
He's one of our customers. So, being able to have that and talking to them about the CVABC as they're our customers, has just been really great. We intend to plan something for 2025 for our 5-year, the people that have been with us since the beginning to,
Pool party?
Yeah. Pool party. Something.
Yes.
Yeah.
pool party at Mike Cook's house. That's what I just.
At the ranch. Ooh. Hope Mike is listening. I will say,
We'll find out if he is.
I will say it's nice that you brought up that you didn't get a prize yesterday,
Oh, yeah.
because we brought you a hat today.
Oh, nice.
So
I'm so excited.
That's
I wanted to
cool.
plug that in when you were saying you didn't get
I don't have
anything.
headphones on. I can't put them on.
Yeah, can't put it on yet, but
Awesome. And if it fits Ryan's head, it's bound to fit my head.
Oof.
So I have problem
Ooh.
with hats and big heads.
shots fired.
Mhm.
That wasn't a shot fired. That was just
You're
a
never getting that omelet.
I know, right?
at least you're tall and have a big head. I'm short and have a big head, so I look like a weeble wobble. So, there's that.
I've been called worse.
That's
Yes.
true.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming on with us
Absolutely.
today,
Yeah, we
and
appreciate
kind of enlightening those that are listening about pool safety and how they can get in touch with you guys if they're needing help with their pools. So we are going to cut to a quick commercial, and we will be right back.
Visiting Angels, America's Choice in Home Care, is now serving Lynchburg and the surrounding counties from their new location at 2201 Linghorn Road, providing our community with personal care services, including assistance with bathing, dressing, meal preparation, grocery shopping, light housekeeping, and much more. Our trained staff have to pass all of our requirements for a high standard of care, ensuring that you have a compassionate, kind, and qualified caregiver. Our office team works with you as a partner in providing care for you or your family member to make the task of starting and continuing care an easier process. At Visiting Angels, we understand that every individual is different. That's why our team of dedicated caregivers is committed to providing tailored assistance to make you happier and healthier at home. Call 434-439-4698 to learn more about our services and schedule a free in-home, no-obligation consultation. Trust Visiting Angels in Lynchburg to bring peace of mind to you and your loved ones.
Visiting Angels, America's Choice in Home Care.
Welcome back, everyone. We are, I love being able to talk to businesses where we're learning things like that. But, they're in here talking about, pools and whatnot, but they're also informing you about safety.
So I always
And
thought it was
I think it's
about
cool.
the like pool care and stuff was just about the pumps and the liner and
Mm-hmm.
the covers. But to know that there's I knew there was chemistry that went into it and things like that, but I didn't realize it was so complicated. And then of course the safety factor of your water being clear
Mhm.
and clean. I hadn't even thought
Yeah.
about that. So I'm glad he kind of touched
Yeah.
on that quite a bit.
So if you are out there and you're like me and you have a home without a pool and you're sad, and you're like, maybe I should find a home with a pool.
Time to move.
Time to move. We're going to let you reach out to our next guest, which, yeah, you like that? Yeah, you did. So, ha.
That was a good
Yeah,
bridge to the
It
next
was a
guest.
good bridge. So we have Tina Smith here with us today, local realtor. How are you?
I'm good. How are you all?
Good. So really happy to have you on. I know people are constantly having questions about the market and, what's happening monthly. And it seems like things are changing, constantly. But tell us a little bit, just kind of starting off about yourself and anything, you want our listeners to know.
I'm married. I have 3 daughters, 3 grandkids, and 2 dogs. I live right here in the town of Bedford. I'm native to Central Virginia. Been here all my life. Born and raised in Lynchburg. Then I raised my family in Amherst. So I know this entire area really well. I actually am a school librarian in addition to real estate,
Oh,
but my pipe
really?
dream is to move strictly to the real estate. I've been an educator for 20 years.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
That's
Uh,
my. God, I love the library. I
I
used
do
to
too.
spend all my time in the
You
library.
remember Miss Pruitt from Lincoln?
I do remember Miss
So
Pruitt.
she was my favorite.
Yeah. So yeah, sorry to interrupt you. We go down the rabbit hole of.
We're just talking about how much we love librarians.
school
No, I'm
libraries.
glad.
Yeah.
I had a closing this morning. So yeah, speaking of the market, it is stable. The thing that is still a problem, I feel like, is that there's low inventory for buyers. So
Right.
if there's anyone out there looking to sell, I would love to have the opportunity to discuss that with you, and also would help give buyers more options out there.
Yeah.
And speaking to a local lender this morning, Sherry Brady, our conversation is she said that the interest rates right now are still in a low, mid 60s, low 70s, and it depends on factors including your credit score and the type of loan. Economists are predicting rates to go down, but two things to think about: if you find the home that you really love and the rates come down, competition is going to pick up,
Right.
and
Yeah.
the cost of the home may go up.
Right.
So the thing would be to buy the home that you love and refinance later when the interest rates go down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we bought a house in 2021. And we looked at 24 houses, and the market was crazy at that time. And we would, something like would come up on Zillow, and we'd see it, and we'd reach out to our realtor, and we'd have an appointment to go see it at 6:00. And there'd be 5 offers on it. And it was insane, but the interest rates were low. Houses were, people were moving. A lot more people were working from home because of COVID, things like that. So a lot of people were changing their priorities of what they needed in a home. And it was crazy. Now, like it'd probably be a lot easier to find the home because interest rates are up a little bit, and the, not as competitive of a market, things like that. So yeah. And if the thing is if the interest rates are up a little bit and you buy a home now, it doesn't mean you can't refinance when the interest rates go down.
Mhm.
So, that dream home, that's because I fully believe we bought our dream home. Like, I don't plan on having to move again unless I really want to. Right. So
To get that
Um,
pool.
yeah, unless I move to get that pool. And then we'll have a party at my house.
Yeah.
So we very carefully picked the house that we wanted. We weren't as worried about interest rates and price as much as we were of making sure that we got the right home for us. So, there's always options down the road to refinance or things like that. So even if interest rates are up, it's, that home might not be on, people buy a house, they live in it, 20, 30 years. That house is going to come back on the market in a year. So,
Right.
so
Exactly.
you need to move. If your dream house is available, you got to do what you can to try and get it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
What are some? I'm going to ask this, because I know right now inventory is low, and I've heard a lot of people talking about that. So if you're at home and you're sitting there, what are some incentives to look at selling, or who are those people that are kind of your target? Like, there may be they need to downsize, things like that.
There's a lot of different variables with that, and I would say, like you just said, one is people are looking to downsize, and we have a great opportunity right here in the town of Bedford, right near the hospital, with a community that's building with one level housing.
Mm-hmm.
And typically that's what a lot of people do when they want to downsize. Your children have grown and moved away.
Yep.
Or you're at a point in your life where you just need one level living, or sometimes that's actually an option for first time buyers.
Right.
They don't need that 2 or 3 story house, etc. But the buyers that I've been dealing with in the last couple of closes I've had are actually very young couples or single, and they're all in their first time home. So I think that's what the market is right now. There's a lot of people out there who are first time home buyers.
Yeah.
Right. And I think our area is one of those, because we're kind of like a college town or whatnot. You see a lot of parents from out of town or out buying homes for their kids because it's, come on in and
Yeah.
live, here, because you're going to spend 4 years here and then, potentially stay here. And
Anytime you're buying property or a home, it's an investment. It just depends on how long you need that investment for. So for someone coming to college for 4 years, and a lot of, especially Liberty students, it seems like a lot of people come here for Liberty and they love Lynchburg so much they just stay.
Yeah.
Right. So, that could be a good investment, whether it's a 30-year investment or a 4 or 5 year investment,
Exactly. That's a good point, because not only they could have the housing for their student who's at college in the area, they could also have it for rental property later if the student chooses not to stay here.
Yeah.
Or, like you just said, it could be resale, and they can use that money to buy the students' then home as as their ownership and family growing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Plus, it gives mom and dad somewhere to stay when they come visit.
Right.
Exactly. So why is it important to have a buyer agent? Instead of and also, like, why is it important to have someone, like, because I know I see a lot of people that do like for sale by owner, and it's kind of like they're always for sale by owner, and you can't seem to get the home sold. So why is it so important to go through an agent?
Okay, so as far as I know, you mentioned Zillow. If I could first touch on that,
Mhm.
I want buyers and sellers to know that's a good place to start. But when you bring up for sale by owners, if you're interested in putting your home up for sale, you want to hire a professional, someone who can actually give you a good market valuation for your home, and also to guide you through that home selling process
Right.
to get you the resources you need for that.
And the disclosures and things that you have to give new owners. Our realtor, when we bought our house, it was a brand new realtor that was selling the house for the couple that we bought it from. And our realtor with 30, 40 years experience, being a realtor. And she was, having to, let me see if I can phrase this right, politely educate the new realtor, like, well, these are some things that were missed. And so we did the home inspection, and there were some things that were like safety issues that we wanted addressed. And the realtor was like, well, we're selling it, like, we're not doing all these improvements for you. And she goes, no, these are safety issues. These are things that need to be fixed. And if we were just doing that ourselves, like, I wouldn't know. Right. So, it's important to have that experience, and somebody who knows, just like pools. Like, I'm not going to try and maintain my own pool. That is not me. Right. I do not have the consistency in my schedule to be able to every Monday go check the chemicals and do this and do that. Whereas if you have a company come in and do it, it's the same thing with realty. Like, you've got someone who knows what they're doing, and they've done it before, right? Because not a lot of us have just gone out and, like I said, you buy a house, you keep it 10, 20, 30 years. You're not doing this every year to know everything that you need to do.
Right, exactly. You hit the nail on the head with what you just said. That was exactly right. But a buyer's agent will provide lots of support and resources, and some of that is discussing with you your goals and helping you make a plan. We're going to connect you to your lender and helping you understand the different, like you just said, different things. If you do find a house that you put an offer on, and then you have an appraisal done, we're going to explain to you the appraisal process, what that's all about, why you want an appraisal. And then, like you just mentioned, those repairs. And that buyer agent is going to negotiate that with you, whether it's to get the repairs done, for the seller to allow for money for those repairs to be done, etc. But there's we're going to discuss your goals, make a plan, explain relationships, explain to you my relationship, and then the seller agent's relationship, discuss EMD and other real estate terms you may not understand. As you said, if you're not dealing with this every day. Explain and be with you through the entire process, including the closing and that inspection. Educate you to the area if you're not from the area, especially if you're new, like you were mentioning, college students. Discuss what to do during your home tours. When we meet up and we go to look at the different houses, I'm going to discuss, like you were just mentioning, what to look for. Not only the things that you want as far as house, but like you just said, safety concerns or other things that you would need to bring up when you go to make that offer. Discuss the offer process and all the negotiations, schedule your home information and showings, review and help you understand all the documents and all the processes. And then not only that, connect you to your closing title company, connect you to someone who is going to do the appraisal, connect you to all these different inspections that are suggested or required to be done. Yeah, there's
And which
lots.
inspector to trust. So,
Right.
maybe a month ago, we had Brandon from Premier Inspections, and some of the things he was talking about, and I was like, thinking back to when we had our house inspected, and be like, oh yeah, they did that. Like, just like going through the checklist, and it was interesting, like you said, from, again, somebody who's just walking in their home and like, tell me what's wrong with your house. And like, well, this, and this, but there are things that you may not realize because you don't do it every day. You don't know what you're looking for, things like that. So,
and I think people are always looking at, how can I cut costs? How can I save myself money? How can I do this? The thing about it is, people, if you're listening to me, I'm just, and I feel very strongly in people are professionals in their field because they're professionals in their field. And so if you are not said professional in that field, you sometimes stand to lose money in the long run, because if you're doing something on your own, you're doing it incorrectly, or you try something, or like if you're selling your home and you are not getting any hits on it because you're not doing the things you need to do. And then you're having to keep lowering the price and then lowering the price. And at that point, you might as well have just had an agent come out and help you.
Right.
Right.
Because you end up, I'm a strong believer in this, you end up paying for it later down the road.
Right.
And so it's never a quick fix. Like, so again, that's just me I have this conversation with my father all the time about all the things he doesn't do correctly when he's hiring construction or contractors or things like
here's the
that.
thing. You can save money now, but it's going to cost you down the road, or
Mhm.
you can pay it and get it right the first
Right.
time and save money in the long run. So
Well-
it just depends on when you want to spend your money, now or then.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
you're going to end up having to go back and fix something if
Yeah.
it's not right.
So that's one of the things I constantly say is, please contact someone who knows what they're doing. They're licensed. They can walk you through the hard decisions and show you, what you may be overlooking that could cost you down the road.
Right. And like we already mentioned, especially with a first time home buyer, you want to make sure they understand, like I said, the legalities, the terms. And like I said, when you're just going to tour the house to see if that's a house you want, you want them to understand the process, not just from just looking at the house, but all the way through. And every time something's done, I say, did you get that? Now let's look over it. Let's talk about it. What are your questions? Do you have any questions?
Mhm.
And like I said, all the way even to the closing when we're sitting at the table and they're going through all the documents that they're having to sign. And I say, is there anything in here that you don't understand? Let's talk about it. Let's,
Right.
you want them to understand. Like I said, especially as you keep mentioning, this isn't something that you do every year or
Right.
whatever. And so you want to make sure that
Mhm.
they understand that process, whether it's a buyer or a seller.
Yes. I definitely agree with that. So what are some tips if you are a buyer? Like, what are some tips that you would say for someone who's out there looking to buy?
Well, the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to look at what type of house that you can afford. So again, I would recommend you several local lenders of who I think are very reputable, like you said, very experienced and know
Mhm.
their line of work and experts in their field. And so I would get you connected with someone, and then they could help you understand not only how much house you can afford as far as your monthly payment and the amount of house, but also what kind of money you will need ahead, what type of loan that you qualify for, and does that certain circumstances qualify you for any assistance.
Mhm.
But also to help you understand out of pocket expenses. You're gonna be responsible for home inspection, for the appraisal. If you want a radon
radon test,
inspection,
yeah.
yep, closing costs. Like I said, what the MD is and when it has to be done, and then also like whether or not what area you're interested in. So you, like I said, by having a meeting with a realtor and expert, they can sit down and explain all these things
Yeah.
and help you understand. There is stuff to look at prior to getting started. It doesn't hurt to get on Zillow. Like I said, Zillow is a great starting point, or Realtor.com, or any of them that you use as a reference point. That's a good starting point. But not only as far as what you need to understand as far as your financials and where to start and how to start, but also would help you getting to the point of setting up these scheduling. You're going to look at the houses and making sure you understand all the processes from start to finish. So like I said, along the way of getting you to resources, reputable resources for all the inspections you have to do and helping you understand those. And then when you're looking at the houses, I would give you suggestions on like we were talking about earlier, what to look for, how to compare them, but also as a realtor, as an expert, when we have access to the MLS, you can tell me what area you're interested in, and I know how much house, and I can set you up on an email. And every time a realtor adds a new listing, it'll
comes
send
right
you
to
an
your
email.
inbox.
Yes. And probably quicker than you would find it going to Realtor
Yes.
and Zillow, because those don't update as quick as the MLS.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, we lived by those emails for about 3 months. So,
Yeah.
So, Tina, how can somebody get a hold of you if they're interested in talking with you more?
Well, my email is tinasmithvirginiarealtor@gmail.com, and they can find me on Facebook also.
Okay.
And we ask 2 questions of every podcast guest that comes on. One is, how long have you been part of the CVABC?
I think I joined 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
And Heather seems to think so as well.
And I know so because I checked.
I gotcha. And you started doing research now. So
I tried to, because that way I don't want them to feel like I don't know. So I can be like, yes.
And what do you think is the greatest benefit of being part of the Central Virginia Business Coalition?
Oh, I can't narrow it down. I think that you all have lots of perks, and this is one of them. And then
She gets a gold star today because she said the podcast first.
I know one of them we keep talking about that I haven't gone further with is that billboard that we get to do, and the Center Fest. I'm looking forward to that again this year. That's such a big marketing opportunity for small businesses. The coffee talks. I can't get all those, but those are great too. And then the other individual things that you have along the way. I can't think of all.
There's
of
so many.
There's
so many.
like the puppet tournament coming up.
Yeah, like I said, cvabc.org. Oh, I stole your line. Hold on, we'll say it again. Yes. But yeah, so thank you. Because I think a lot of people that join, there's different niches. The different things appeal to different members, which is why we try to have so many different items. And it's nice that when people can utilize all the different things.
Yeah, we had a guest almost a year ago that came on when I started hosting, that started talking about how the CVABC really filled his calendar for work. Like, he was in a new position and was kind of trying to figure out what he could do to promote his position. And when he actually had a large organization that signed up, and he was able to go to all these different functions and things. He goes, it really, like, the group and community that is in the CVABC covered so many different industries and things like that. He made a lot of connections that were really good for his business. So it just kind of filled his whole calendar. So
yep, I've met a lot of people. Brandon, I met. Pampered Chef, she gave me a great idea.
Yeah, Terry, we can't
oh goodness, the booklet I just gave to my home
County Compass.
Yes,
Compass,
yes, that's phenomenal.
Then the dog treats, I just gave those to one.
I actually met you at that ribbon cutting.
That's right.
For the dog treats. My dogs love those treats, by the way. Which,
yes, I just remembered I didn't give my phone number, 434-944-2829.
Oh, there you go.
Perfect.
So, but yeah, it's a lot of benefits. Like you said, going to ribbon cuttings and supporting other businesses also lets you meet more people and things like that. So,
and I won yesterday too.
Wow.
Oh, she won yesterday too.
I walked in the door and they were getting ready to do the drawing, and I said, "What ticket?" Put my ticket in, and they called my number second.
Nice.
That's awesome. What'd you win?
A toaster oven.
What?
Wow. Oh, at Oakwood?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, so you're the one that stole my toaster oven. Yeah.
I won nothing, but that's also good.
Yeah, there was like 4 of us standing in a row, and the prizes were pretty much going down the row, and it skipped over me. So we were all laughing. But yeah, because Heather couldn't win because she dropped both tickets in.
I put both my tickets in the bowl. I didn't realize they'd already put one in, and so I thought I had to put the anyway. Stupid me, whatever. I learned. I won nothing, but that's okay. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in to Talk Local to Me. I do want to say it is Easter weekend. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I'm off.
So I hope everyone, has a happy Easter time with their family.
And watch out for Monday. It's April 1st.
Grab some. Yes. Don't talk to Mike on April 1st because he will probably try and do something.
I took the day off so that I could go for
Q's.
Woody's yard. Put all the plastic forks in the yard.
Yeah.
In the middle of the night. So.
Enjoy yourself. Take the kiddos out to those Easter egg hunts.
Yeah.
And also spring break is coming up right on the heels of that. If you're in at least Bedford County, I know. So hopefully you'll be able to take your kiddos out and have a good time in the upcoming week. But
thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being on. And if you are interested in any of the events we talked about earlier today, or just want to find out more about membership with the Central Virginia Business Coalition, you can go to
cvabc.org.